Hey, how's it going? My name is Mick, and I'm on a mission to figure out how we tick. Today, on the input theory, we're going to talk about the subconscious mind and how to optimize it. Because I believe that if we can optimize our subconscious, then our conscious reality will be much, much better. So I believe the gut and the subconscious are one and the same. And what makes up a healthy gut is the degree of stress that it's under. So if your gut, let's call this the stress graph. If the gut is under very little stress, then it's healthy. That means it can send signals to the brain that tell the brain, okay, let's go out in the world, let's explore, let's live and learn and grow, let's evolve. But if there's a high level of stress in the gut, that means the gut's sending signals to the brain that tell it, you should be afraid, you should stay where you are, you shouldn't go anywhere. And it's almost the same as saying that there's a lion in the room. There isn't a lion in the room, but subconsciously we act, our body is like a program, like an algorithm, and it just looks at it like that. So if you're in a bad job, or you're in a relationship that's not really going so well, or you're angry with people and you blame everyone but you don't do anything about it, that would signify that your gut balance is very stressed. So how does the gut get stressed? The gut gets stressed with different kinds of inputs. There are good inputs and bad inputs. Good, we'll put a positive next to them, and bad, put a negative next to them. And depending on how much of each of these you take, they can interchange in what's good or bad. But let's keep it simple for now. What is a bad input? Well, an input that is non-nourishing. Because you want an input to nourish you in some way. If you're inputting something in your body, you want it to help your body, right? You want it to be fuel, or you want it to make you better. Well, eating something that has no nutritional value, for example, goes in your mouth, goes into your gut, and doesn't have any available nutrients. So your gut bacteria that needs to be nourished so that it can nourish us, if they're not nourished, they're starved. When they start to get starved, boom, they send a negative signal to the brain, the fear signal. So that's an example of a bad one. A good input is something that does the exact opposite. Let's say you eat a bowl of broccoli. You eat that broccoli, it goes in, your gut bacteria digests it, it eats it, it gives you nourishment, you feel a buzz after, you feel great. That is an example of a good one. And so it's very simple when you talk about it with food, but there's inputs that come from everywhere. So food is one of them. It's energy, it's matter that we're putting in that has information in it that either helps us or doesn't help us. But and that directly impact the gut. But what about inputs that mess up the brain? Okay, so let's look at a bad input that goes in the brain. Let's say watching your favorite comedy show, your favorite late night show, and you watch an episode. It relaxed you, it made you feel good, it actually de-stressed you, and all fine and dandy. So it's not actually a bad input. But when you watch 10 episodes in a row, what ends up happening is that you're receiving via light and via sound frequencies into your brain via your eyes and ears. And receiving that much information for that long stresses the brain, which sends a stress signal down to the gut. And then when the gut's stressed, it tells the brain that it's in survival mode, it needs to hoard, it needs to eat, it needs to do something. So that'll explain why when we binge watch TV, we also binge eat. Because there's this feedback loop going on where we're receiving too much, we're stressing our brain, comes down, stresses our gut, and then the gut's telling the brain it's stressed. And so now we're in animal mode where we're just looking to survive, where we just want to eat and hoard and continue on this loop. And then the next day we feel like shit. So why do we feel like shit? It's because our subconscious, over the night, we sabotaged it. We put our subconscious in a very stressful position, which put us in a very low vibration position. So they're opposite. And that's the way that works. So we have to think about things and inputs and people. Same with people. People represent like the greatest input. And why is that? Because not only are they light and sound, we're seeing them, we're hearing them, we're receiving their information, but we're also receiving their gut bacteria. When we talk to someone face to face, we're passing back and forth billions of bacterial cells. And what happens is, if someone has been really, really, really stressed for a long time, their immune system's been low, and they have their system's been so low that their gut bacteria is really weak, and that gives room for parasites to grow and stuff like that. So if you're spending your time like every single day with someone who's been so stressed out for so long, you're actually receiving that bacteria that is a negative bacteria. So people, not only with their ideas, their thoughts, their words, but at the root of it all, their source code, which is their microbiome, we're receiving that. So if we're spending our days with people who are stressed out, like living with our parents or any of that stuff, and they're very stressed, then we're receiving that, and it's impacting our subconscious. So you ever think about why you were so angry when you were a high school kid living with your parents, and why you guys were always fighting and why there was always so much turmoil? Well, it's because the input of people that you were receiving from your parents, who received it from where they are at work and what they do and what they listen to in the car and all that stuff, all has an impact on our subconscious. I know I'm running all over the place here, but this is, in essence, the input theory. Everything and everyone represents an input. So I'm not saying to avoid the world. That's not what I'm saying. But if we can build a routine out of very nourishing inputs, that means we're going to build our immune system, because we'll be in low stress 95% of the time. We'll build our immune system, and as our immune system builds, we'll be able to handle any situation, any kind of food, any kind of person for a limited amount of time without it affecting us, because our core, our source code, as I call it, source code, will be very strong. But if we limit, what was I going to say there? Sorry, I lost myself. So it's going so well. Inputs. It's all about inputs. If we can limit the amount of negative impact inputs in our lives, then we're just gonna kill it. We're just gonna feel good. And I've been applying this to my own life, and I've been learning it and exercising it. I have a group of friends who have been working on this in terms of applying the concepts to their own lives, and they're seeing results. They're getting healthier. They're getting fitter. Their businesses are doing better. They feel better. And these metaphors go on and on and on. So I'll be doing these videos like crazy, because I really want to get this message out and see if other people can use this information to help themselves. So thanks very much. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like, and have yourself a good one. See you later.